Hello, how are you? Nataraji umeshinda vizuri, or it's my hope that you had a nice day. Nimesema nikuje tusemezane kidogo, sababu in my podcast na zile vitu tumekuwa tukifanya, sijaweza kuongea kitu kuhusu Msumbiji ama Mozambique. Kama vile mnajua, Mozambique ambayo imekuwa na chama kimoja ambacho kimekuwa kikitawala hilo taifa ambacho kinaitwa Frelimo, ni kama kuna shida kubwa sana. So leo nataka kudiscuss kidogo hiyo mashida ya Msumbiji. Msumbiji ni taifa liko karibu South Africa, lakini aliko South Africa kabisa. I think it is in the southeastern side of Africa. Ni nchi ambayo ni konde, imeteremka hivi. Iko hapo chini ya Tanzania kidogo, lakini Tanzania na Zanzibar. So karibuni sana kwa hii podcast yangu. Nataka kuongea story ya Msumbiji, sababu Msumbiji wako kwa crisis. Kulikuwa na uchaguzi juzi, na after huo uchaguzi bwana Chapo, kuna mzee, acha nisimuite kijana, kuna mtu anaitwa Chapo alikuwa declared na electoral commission ya huko, na after Chapo kukuwa declared by the electoral commission, kuanzia jana Msumbiji kukaliki, sababu watu ni kama walikuwa na imani ya kwamba chama tawala cha Frelimo kingeweza kupoteza urais. So hayo ndio yale mambo ambayo raia walikuwa wanangojea. So lakini raia ni kama wamepatwa na mbubwazi, wakapigwa na butoa, sababu yule mtu ambaye hakuwa anatarajiwa kushinda uchaguzi akashinda uchaguzi. Ni kama kilipinduliwa. In other words, I think through the state operatives, the popular candidate was denied a win. Na kutoka declaration na saa hii Msumbiji kumekuwa na crisis mbaya sana. Kumbukeni, Msumbiji kumekuwa na shida. Msumbiji wamekuwa na issue ya terrorism. 5 years ago, there was very bad terrorism issues which were happening in Mozambique. Watu wamekuwa wakikufa. Actually kumekuwa na group Msumbiji ambayo imekuwa imejishikanisha na Al-Qaeda. I was actually even asking myself, why would a Portuguese speaking country, Mozambique, without a lot of Muslim affiliation, have terrorists who are orienting themselves with Al-Qaeda? So hilo ni jambo ambalo limekuwa likinishtua sana, because Msumbiji is Portuguese speaking, and I couldn't understand why a majority Christian nation was having links with Al-Qaeda. It was not making sense to me, Bwana Raban. It was not. Maybe you can help me understand how comes Msumbiji is having terrorism activities. Kwani I don't understand. I know we have those not all Islam but radical Islams who have identified themselves with the terrorism. So I would also like to understand if we have also those radical Christians who have identified themselves with the terrorism. Sababu ni jambo la kuhuzunisha sana, because watu pale Msumbiji wameumia sana for long. So kumekuwa na those terrorist activities. So ni kama watu wanaona ni kama taifa zao hazifanyi kazi mzuri. So people feel hopeless. So pale Msumbiji watu wameamua sasa kuchukua sheria mikononi. Inatangwa frustration point. Hakuna chakula. Things are not okay. So sasa watu wakaamua kupigana wao wenyewe sasa. Watu wakasema sasa na tuchukue sheria mikononi. So now as we speak from by yesterday, close to 6,000 people and migrated and escaped from jela. So jela za Msumbiji watu 6,000 wametoroka. It is becoming chaotic. Also people died because ya hiyo stampede wakijaribu kutoroka kwa majela. 33 people died, but close to 6,000 people are outside there. So now you can now imagine some of them were convicts of death, convicts of long sentences. They are outside there. I don't know who is going to reassemble them back into the... I think now Mozambique with these criminals outside is now a failed state. I don't know how they can reassemble these criminals who are in jail. How do they reassemble them again? I think now Mozambique is a gone country. I don't know who will be able to rescue them. Frelimo, the party which has ruled that country for so long, has been unable to stabilize that country. So let me see Frelimo. I want to see Frelimo, the amount of time Frelimo party. So Frelimo party is a party is a democratic social political party. I just want to see how long it. It was founded in 62. Unaona wako na mambo na Tanzania pale headquarters. Frelimo pia ilikuwa na headquarters Dar es Salaam from 62 to 75. So they have a lot of then from Maputo ni pale Msumbiji from 75. So ideology ya Frelimo ni democratic socialism, communism. So they believe in communism. They believe in Marxism. I'm just trying to check from the internet. Machiavellism. I think that one is Machiavelli, from Machiavelli. Yeah, Machiavelli was an Italian columnist. So it's a left wing. So left wing, you understand. So it's a social patriotism. So yeah, so it's a left wing, far left. So in other words, if Frelimo is far left, in other words, that's the issue. I think it's so unfortunate that the far left have been ruling. So election history, so presidential elections, 1994 they won, 1994 and 1999 under Joaquim Chissano. So Joaquim Chissano, so they were elected. Na inakaa uchaguzi wa Mozambique ni after miaka 5. I think people are frustrated. So Armando Guebuza. So Armando Guebuza akakuja another 5 years. That is from 2004 to 2009. Armando Guebuza akakuwa elected. Akagonga terms 2. Then kuna Filipe Nyusi. Akagonga kutoka 2014. I think amegonga from 2014. Anyway, amegonga terms 2 pia yeye. Alafu sasa tuko na hiyo uchaguzi imetendeka hii mwaka hii ambayo imechagua huyu beshte wetu ambaye anaitwa sasa Daniel Chapo, ambaye amechaguliwa na kura zaidi ya 70%. So Daniel Chapo alichaguliwa na kura zaidi ya 70%. So huyu Daniel Chapo, so tuone historia yake, na ni kijana mdogo. He is born 77. Daniel Chapo wa Mozambique is a Mozambique politician, lawyer and jurist. Chapo previously served as a governor of in Hambane. So amekuwa governor, that is 26 to 24. So for 8 years Chapo was the candidate for the ruling party Frelimo. Yeah, so kwa hivyo yeye ndiye alikuja kukuwa candidate wa Frelimo, hii chama ambayo imesumbua Msumbiji for close to 30 years. So that is the problem now. So, and he's also the Secretary General of his political formation currently. Yeah, so he is the president-elect. So Chapo is the president-elect and assumed office on January 15. So Chapo is assuming office before Donald Trump. Donald Trump will be inaugurated on 20th of January. So 5 days before that, Chapo will atakula Biblia, kama vile watu sisi wa Kenya tunapendanga kusema. So I think people are not satisfied with what is happening in Mozambique, and they feel that Chapo did not win honestly. So let me see the opposition. Opposition in Mozambique. So let's see the opposition in Mozambique. We see the people. So now opposition leader is calling for calm in Mozambique. Anaitwa Venancio Mondrane. So Venancio Mondrane is calling for calm. Although akuweza kupata kura mingi kama huyo Chapo alipata 70, I think basi yeye alipewa like around 23% on there. Alipewa kura kidogo sana. So let's hear what Venancio said. Venancio ni opposition leader wa huko Msumbiji. Mozambique main opposition leader Venancio Mondrane has declared that he will install himself as president on January 15. So mnasikia, so nataka musikie crisis vile imechipuka pale Msumbiji. So yeye amesema atajiinstall, he will install himself as the president. Huyo ni bwana Venancio Mondrane, the opposition leader. So he will install himself after rejecting his defeat in the presidential elections. So he rejected the defeat. I think this is something which I think as Africans we have to learn. Like, how can we conduct civilized elections which people can trust them? I hope Ruto atatufikisha hapa, tunafanya uchaguzi then tunajikuta we are in the same crisis like this one. His announcement came as a supporter staged violent protest across the country to demand the end to the 49-year rule of the Frelimo party. You can hear? So the Frelimo party has been ruling Mozambique for 49 years. So, and I think now people feel that they are getting tired, because for sure 49 years is a lot of time, and you are not progressive. Hamjafanya vitu mingi sana. So the capital Maputo was like a ghost town on Christmas Eve, with almost all businesses shut and the people staying at home to avoid being caught up in the worst unrest in the city since Frelimo rose to power at independence in 1975. So you can imagine Frelimo has been in power since 1975. I think those are 2 generations. Frelimo offices, police station, banks and factories have been looted. So ni kama watu wameenda wakavunja huko kabisa. So in other words, there is a state of unrest. And in the same manner also, 21 people were killed in Mozambique. So this is one of the countries. I cannot say that Mozambique has been silent. And it goes to so many African countries. I don't think there is any African country where we can say that there is perennial peace. The peace which we enjoy is not the peace where you can deduct violence from it, because there are some actors who say that peace is not absence of violence. So those have been the issues now which have been happening in Mozambique. So President Filipe Nyusi is due to step down at the end of his 2 terms. In Mozambique, you do 2 terms and you step down. So now Nyusi is supposed to get out, so that now the guy who has won the election, Bwana Chapo, he can get in. But now I don't know what will happen. 1 minute, I put Kwao. I don't know what will happen because sorry. Yeah. I don't know what will happen because now, so the votes which were declared by the Electoral Commission is that Chapo got 71 and Mondrane got 20. In Inoma, the Constitutional Court revised the result, giving Frelimo candidate 65 and Mondrane 24. So anyway, there is still a long way to go anyway. I don't know how now we confirm these results, because now I don't know the reason of the unrest. I don't know what is making Modrane to believe that he won this election. We need more evidence, although we know that ruling parties have capacity to steal. So I'm not refusing that Frelimo might have stolen that election. So, but Frelimo candidate has gotten 65%. That is Bwana Chapo, and Modrane got 24%, and that's where the disputes are coming from. And now there is a lot of unrest in Mozambique, and Mozambique is becoming unruly. Mozambique is becoming that country which could lose a lot. Remember, there was a time when Mozambique was attacked by these typhoons which come from the ocean. Because remember, it neighbors the Indian Ocean there, and Mozambique has a long coastline. So I think they had suffered some devastation from a typhoon which attacked their country some time back. And now, so because Mozambique is like a coastal country, it's a coastal country. So I don't know what Mozambique is going to do. Mozambique looks to have a perennial problem, like the one which we had in Kenya when we tried to break Kanu's rule. If you people, you remember, Kanu had also ruled Kenya for close to 36 years. And Kenyans were also determined to break that rule. I know what it means to perennial leadership. I know what it means, perennial leadership, where a country feels like we are not progressing because one party has ruled us for so long. So that is what is happening in Mozambique. One party rules you for so long, you get frustrated, you feel there should be a way of getting these people out, but unfortunately you don't get that way. The frustration continue boiling because you expect these people to be having a progressive agenda for the country. They don't seem to have. When they are campaigning with a very serious political ideologies, with a thought that they are going to change the country. But suddenly you come to realize that these people are not doing anything. So those are the things which are actually destroying African countries. So Mozambique is just a typical case of what is happening to many sub-Sahara countries. And I hope Kenya we will not go there, because I can predict in 2027 where Mr. William Ruto steals the election, and then there is also very bad unrest. So I hope we are prepared to deal with somebody who might steal the election, because I don't think he will be able to command a majority. But again, he will try to push himself there due to the fact that he believes that he has to get a second term. Somebody like Bwana William Ruto, who believes that people like Uhuru Kenyatta are very weak men and they easily got 2 terms. What about him? So you also need to analyze that in that context. If Uhuru Kenyatta got 2 terms, Bwana Ruto, by his own rights, he feels that he has to get 2 terms, because to him, he believes that Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta was a weak person. He was not somebody who could have been able to control the government well, and he has to get 2 terms, according to himself. So I don't know how Kenyans are prepared to make sure that our votes will be able to be counted well. We will be able to block that. We will be able to make sure that Bwana Ruto is very unpopular, because he has done everything possible, which ensure that a regime has been voted out. He is already on that side. So back to Mozambique, is that yesterday there was a lot of looting, shops were broken, and such unrest, they usually happen because people are frustrated. It is called demoralization. These things are usually done by design so that people lose hope, and then you have a perennial leadership forever. I explained it here in my previous session, where I was explaining about, and I will come to discuss that man and to discuss his rhetoric of how Soviet used to do its thing. He's called Yuri Benbezov. So Yuri Benbezov said that all these governments, they want to frustrate you, they want to demoralize you, so that you can have that artificial stability and now they continue stealing from you, and they continue maintaining the status quo. But for the status quo to remain, to be maintained, there must be demoralization. Eh? You are just rioting and nothing is happening. You are just rioting, you get killed, and these people, they still remain in power. So it's like using the strong fist. So they push you, they make sure that you are frustrated. Even if you fight, nothing is happening, they are still in power. So demoralization and frustration. So that is what happens in many of the African countries. So people feel frustrated by their government. People feel like their government is not doing the right thing. Like in Kenya, we are now having abductions. Now Kenyans feel like as if they are restless. Uh, some Kenyans now feel frustrated. They feel now the country has gone to the dogs. The country cannot be recovered any longer. And that is the exact thing which the government want to do, because they want you to be demoralized. Because once you get demoralized, you allow them to do everything which they want, and you cannot be able to fight back. So demoralization has to be effected seriously by governments which want to be in power for long. So these things are usually done by design. And Ruto, because we want to be in power for long, maybe 10 years, maybe 15 years, I don't know, but I don't think Ruto in his own mind, he can do less than 10 years, regardless of whichever devastation is going to be in our country. So that is the problem. So and for him to effect that, he will have to frustrate us. It's the art of power. So the art of power is like what Museveni did. The reason why Museveni is in power for close to 40 years, it is because of demoralization and frustrating people. You frustrate them and they allow you. That's what this one we can make it. That's what that is the simplest art of power, and that is how these people stay in power. Be in power and frustrate people. Mm? Show them that government is extremely huge. Government is it's impossible to fight the government. No matter what you do, you cannot even pound the government even by an inch. You cannot push them, and now they are all over doing whatever they want to do. So that is usually the principle of the government, just to frustrate you. So I just pray for Mozambique people, especially for, because when a country is in crisis, people who suffer a lot are children and women. I hope they are safe. The truth of the matter is that people are still dying in that country, and I don't think Mozambique can be able to be stabilized for now, because Mozambique is having too many problems. That country cannot be stabilized. I don't think there is any dialogue which can work in that country because of the amount of injustices which have happened. I think Mozambique is one of the countries which has to design a way of removing Frelimo out of power. There's no way in which they can have Frelimo for 49 years and you expect changes there. So for Mozambique to be okay, I know Portugal is a bit a weak country. Sometimes some of these colonial countries, a little bit, they help. But I think Portugal has no capacity at the moment to give any direction to Mozambique. So, and I think Mozambicans will still suffer a lot. Mozambicans will suffer. It's a developing country like ours. It's a country with a lot of Portuguese immigrants, but they seem to have lost direction, unfortunately. They seem like they have lost their country, and I don't know how they are going to recover their country. They have good businesses in fishing because they have a large coastline. Their shipping is good. Yeah, there are a lot of ports in Mozambique, by the way. It's only that they are not very developed because, again, the government has highly participated in corruption. So don't think that people are getting tired of this Mozambique government 49 years rule because they feel so good about them. The Frelimo government is highly corrupt, just like any other African government. They are highly corrupt. They are not effective. People are suffering. There was a drought some few years ago, so there's no food. There are no jobs. All the perennial problems which we are having in Africa, they have. And that is one of the things which has actually destroyed that nation. So those are some of the things which I wanted to discuss with you people, so that we can monitor that situation in Mozambique, and we also understand that in 2027 we could be net. We could be net. This one could actually be a precursor. So 2027 we could be net. Yeah, 2027 actually Kenya we could also be in the streets doing exactly what Mozambique is doing, because Frelimo has stolen the votes. The constitutional court has declared them winner with by 64 to 24, and there's no way to rectify that. So that is now the challenge which that country has. The Electoral Commission has declared Frelimo the winner. There's no a concept of repeating that election. And for people to wait for another 5 years, because the presidential term in Mozambique is 5 years, is too much for them because people are suffering. So those are the problems which are there. That country is extremely suffering. So you can imagine now, Mozambicans who are waiting to unseat the president. Mozambicans were they were so positive by the way they will unseat Frelimo. Then suddenly Frelimo captures power again. That is the frustration. 5 years of a party you didn't want in power again. So Frelimo has really frustrated them. Frelimo looks or seems to have grounded, to have rooted itself everywhere. And now people feel as if they are cajoled and there's nothing they can be able to do to rescue that country. So I hope Mozambique will be able to get out from the grass. People will be able to fight this war until the government surrender. Because actually the government can surrender. It doesn't mean even if they declare themselves as winner, that if they push the government to the corner, the government will not surrender. The government can surrender. But until the government surrenders, you have to fight it. So those are some of the things. So the government doesn't just surrender. You have to fight the government. That is the unfortunate part. You have to fight the government. At times people have to die, and it is really becoming problematic for that country. So I hope it is also a learning lesson for Kenya. Even though Mr. William Ruto is frustrating us, he wants us to lose hope. We should not lose the eye. We should not lose our sight on the eye, on the ball. That is what we know what we are looking for. We know that by 2027 or lesser, we have to unseat even our government. And for those things to happen, we have to be extremely positive and with the total resolve that we are going to do the right thing. We will not follow the politicians who come to give us money so that we can reason with them. We will not follow politicians who come to change the narrative. Wale ambao wanaleta vitu ambazo hatuzihitaji with a precursor of changing the narrative. For the first time, we have to reason with our problem. And I think Mozambicans are reasoning with their problems. Their lives are so devastated. They feel wasted by their government. They feel cajoled to do the wrong thing. It's not that people like fighting, but at times when you see citizens of a particular country going to the street saying enough is enough, at times it comes because of the patriotic nature which they have in life. So I'm really happy. I really wanted to discuss that small point about Mozambique. So let's keep on. So wale ambao muko na time, if I know you are in your families, you're enjoying your Christmas, so please keep on monitoring that situation in Mozambique, and let's see how it will unfold. Let's see if Frelimo will surrender. They could surrender because people are supreme, people are strong. I agree with that. So I'm not of the school of the thought where I don't believe that people cannot win. People can win this war, even if the election was stolen. People can win this war if they push. So let's see how far Mozambicans are going to push. If they mean it, if they mean the revolution, it could actually happen. They have already lost enough. They have already lost the maximum. So there's no need for them to retreat. The best thing they can do is to finish this war. Wasukume kusuma. Waseme tu kaende kaende. That is what they need to do. They need to push this war and they need to finish. Frelimo cannot sit on them their entire lifetime. Frelimo has to give Mozambique a rest. Frelimo can't rule Mozambique for over 50 years, and they think that they are entitled for leadership. I think Mozambique needs a change, and that change is eminently and it needs to be supplied by the opposition, because opposition is there, and they seem also to have a good candidate who can also do the same things, or even better than the ones which Frelimo was doing. So let's keep on monitoring that situation of Mozambique with a view that the same things could repose into our country. But what we need to do is that even as those things repose into our country, we need that to be prepared that we will be able to question our government. If our government steals our election, we are able to question them. So that's the thing. And we have to be prepared with all the arsenal we need so that the government does not steal the election come 2027. Anyway, thank you. Tuonane baadaye. Nilikuwa nimeleta tu hiyo story kidogo. Wale ambao amukuweza kusikia hii podcast yangu about Mozambique, once I end this podcast, please you can watch it. And please, out of the 6 people who I can see they are watching live now, tafadhali, if you have not subscribed our channel, I always encourage you to subscribe our channel. And viva. Kenya has to win and Africa has to win. So I will meet you, I think after 6 or 7 hours or so, 9 Kenyan time, I'll be here with our usual podcast discussing the political situations, how things will be happening. We are still continuing to cover the abductions which happened in Kenya. We hope that our kids who have been abducted are still safe. So that is what I will come to continue with. We still have abductions which were done in Kenya. Kibet the bull has not yet been gotten, so we will still be monitoring the situation. I hope Kenyans will be able to rise up. I had also heard that there was a possibility, so maybe yule mtu ambaye anajua status ya maandamano, I heard that kutakuwa na maandamano Kenya leo. So please, if there is a maandamano, you can tell us. We can come in online and join so that we can be able to watch it together. If at all there will be a maandamano. And I would encourage you, maandamano lazima ikue. We need to teach our police lesson because iwezekani ya kwamba watu wanapotea na tunanyamaza tu. So that maandamano is highly encouraged. And if we have to do maandamano, cameras kawaida tubebe handkerchiefs, cover as much as possible. Now, cameras are our intelligence. Cameras are modern day security. So proper imaging work can take us a long way. So we cannot continue soothing the government, which is actually denying everything. So this is the problem of government globally. They even deny the obvious. People are being abducted, they are saying they are not the ones. I have also seen even people in Kenya saying that watachukua sheria mkononi. I saw some people even packaging some knives, others were packaging some mishares. Why? Because they feel unsafe and they want to protect themselves. And that is the truth of the matter. Shalom, tupatane tena. Thank you.